Hi everyone. Now a couple of weeks ago my son Ben and I were out at a local public course. He was helping me do a little bit of videoing, which he does a fair bit, and he loves to just play around and find the world's most difficult bunker shots, chip shots, pitch shots. So I thought I would film him doing this because I think there's a bit to learn. He's a good golfer. I mean, a lot of you know him already through different videos that I've done. His most fun thing to do is to just find the most difficult possible shot you could play. But you can see that the bunker is not in great nick. It's just a local kind of municipal course. Ben's trying his best to make his setup position as much like normal as possible. This is a fairly extreme setup. He wouldn't have been able to put both feet down there. So he's trying to use that back leg to make this shot as much like a normal setup as possible, which I think he's managed to do. He's going to have to pick the club up pretty quick. You can see that he's added quite a bit of wrist brake on the backswing there. But what he has done is really kept his balance, kept his weight on that sort of main leg there, and he's kept his left arm nice and straight, which is really important. But see that extra wrist brake he's got there? He's going to need that because as he comes down into the shot, if he hits that ground behind, if he loses his wrist angle or his lag, he's going to hit the ground behind that and just completely miss-hit this shot. So that's why he's added that extra wrist brake. Now he's got to really maintain that as he comes down into the shot, or as I said, he's going to hit the ground well before the ball. Here you can see the club starting to come down, and it's very, very close to that bank behind him, but he's maintaining his wrist angle there. If he had have lost any wrist angle there, he would have hit the ground very, very easily. So that's the key to this one. When you're on a downhill slope, when you've got a little bit of ground up behind the ball, then you need to maintain your lag or your wrist angle coming into the shot. If you don't, you'll hit the ground well and truly before the ball. And here we are at impact. What's so important here is that left arm is nice and straight right the way down through into the club. He's maintained his balance reasonably well. Certainly through impact, I know that he does kind of fall back after he hits the shot, but he's managed to maintain his balance and his good technique through impact, keeping that left arm nice and firm, and he's been quite positive. He's given it a really good hit. Well, he did pretty well, I think. The ball actually came out and went onto the green. In fact, this day I think that he might have done 10 different shots, and every single ball he got out first go, some better than others, but it was quite amazing how well he did. Pretty good shot. This green really slopes hard from left to right, so it was pretty hard to keep the ball on the green at all. There's no challenge that he doesn't love. Yeah, he had to give up on that one. There was no hitting that one. It's like how hard can we make this shot? It's quite a windy day, that's why I didn't really use the audio from the day, but you'll hear us talking a little bit. But you can see here he's put it as close in up under the bank as he possibly can. He's just got it out. At least it's out. That one you'd be pretty happy with just to get out. He wants to play it again and improve on it. Loves a challenge. I don't think he gets that from his mum, does he? Can't even get the ball to stay there. So I'll slow this one down because I think it is quite interesting just to see how well he maintains his technique. So his setup looks reasonably normal there, but what he's going to have to do is to abbreviate his follow through enormously. So the key will be to maintain his good technique. He's got a nice straight left arm there. He's shortened up his backswing a bit there. You can see it's only like half a swing because you want to be a bit careful. You're not going to injure yourself by hitting from a full back swing into a bank like that. So as he comes down into the shot, he's going to have to really kind of get down below the ball and connect properly, and then come up with the follow through, really abbreviate the follow through. You can see he's sort of coming up through the shot a little bit. His heels are coming up off the ground a bit, but he has splashed the sand then the ball is up and out. I'll put a little arrow, you can see where it actually is. And he's tried to sort of bring his follow through up, but after he's connected, which is so important, because if you start bringing it up before you connect, then you're just going to top it, and the ball's not going to go anywhere, obviously. Yeah, so you can see there he's got that abbreviated follow through. He's lost his balance now, but he has been pretty aggressive with the shot, which is super important. That's a good shot. He's done very well there. I think he's pretty happy with that one. This next one, he decided we're going to create a fried egg lie. My panning skills are not great there, so apologies for that. But that's a pretty nasty lie because the sand was a little bit heavy. Your key here is to just get super, super positive. He's hit a great shot there. It's going to run on a little bit. He's got a wider stance there to get a little bit lower down since the ball is low. His main focus here, though, will be to maintain his technique as well as he can while trying to be super aggressive. So he's got his nice shoulder turn, he's keeping his arms straight, he's squatting down really well into this shot to keep himself low into it. You can see there he's maintained that straight left arm, he's got his weight moving through, his back heel's coming up off the shot. He's maintaining good technique while playing it quite aggressively and being super positive. He lost his balance there because he was trying to hit it quite powerfully, which obviously I don't recommend, but boys will be boys. He's having some fun here. Yeah, very good. So we thought we'd go for a very sort of a flat, short, easy bunker shot here, because that is often something I get asked a lot about. You know, what do you do when there's no lip and the shot itself is quite short? It's almost too easy. So what you notice here, he's just playing a normal bunker shot. He's not worried about the fact that there's no lip or that it's not a very long shot. He's going to stay positive and stay aggressive. You want to treat those almost exactly the same as any other bunker shot, whether there's a lip or not. And I will slow him down here as well. So his setup just looks nice and normal. He's got a nice flat back, a little bit of knee bend. Weight looks to be in the front of his feet there. So you can see his backswing a little bit longer, but it's still, that's about his usual sort of a 3/4 length backswing for a bunker shot is good. You don't want a full swing, but you do need some power. So this sort of 3/4 length backswing with a nice full shoulder turn is really good in the bunker on just a normal basic bunker shot. You can also see that he hasn't got as much wrist break as he did when he really wanted to maintain that wrist angle with that bank behind him, where he really had to miss that bank. So you can see here he hasn't had to worry about that, and he's just allowing the wrist break to be a natural wrist break. And you can see here that he's played a beautiful shot there, finishing right up on a proper follow through there with all his weight on the front, hands up on it over his left shoulder, fully facing the target there, back heel up off the ground. What you will notice too is that even though it's a very small, short, flat bunker shot, he's played it with some positivity. He's given it a smack. He's really committed fully to that. How hard can we make these shots?
What about in that footprint?
He loves a challenge. Have a look at that shot. He's determined. This is a cracker. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's have a look at this one. He's really got quite a solid bank right behind the ball there. You can see what he's done is actually closed the club face down a little bit, and what that does is allows the club to come down sharply in behind the ball. If you lay it open like we often do a little bit in a bunker shot, you're increasing the surface area of that club, and we want to sort of chop down sharply here. So he's just closed the club face up a little bit. We're still using his fully lofted, I can't remember what club he was using, either a sand wedge or a lob wedge, but if you have this shot, you want the most loft on your club as you possibly can get, because when you're on a downslope, it will come out lower, and obviously then it's hard to lift it up and out of the bunker. You can see here, shorter backswing, but still maintaining that left arm straight, and see that extra wrist break there. Normally in this part of the swing you'd probably just have a right angle between the left arm and the club, but he's added a bit extra, and then the challenge will be to maintain that coming down and through and avoiding that bank behind the ball, hitting just behind the ball first. You can see here that he's maintaining that angle. That's great lag there, and really the only way that he can play this shot. You can see here how close he comes to hitting that bank. It's only about an inch away, I think. So if he did hit that bank, then the shot's over. It's going to bounce, the club's going to bounce over the top of the ball. You're going to miss it altogether. So this is a high risk shot. He's done well. He's managed to get down into the sand just before the ball. You can see his legs are in a similar position to where they were when they started, which is pretty good. He's maintained his balance. It's nice straight left arm. You can see he's keeping his technique, even though these are really awkward, unusual shots. He's maintaining, and that is why he's been able to get these all out, because he's maintained that straight left arm. Now he's lost his balance obviously there, but he did even manage to get this one out as well, which is unbelievable. Forwards out. So he's got a plugged lie up close to the lip. So again, he's gonna hood that club face in just a little bit, because when you've got a plugged lie, you can chop down a little bit better and get down underneath it. Otherwise, his setup looks reasonably normal. He's going to probably have to abbreviate his follow through here with that bank right in front of him. So again, just a sort of half back swing. It's nearly a full swing that you would use in a bunker, considering you'd only normally have like a 3/4 back swing in a bunker anyway. So he's gone for a half. You can see also he's added that little bit of extra wrist break again, because he wants to chop right down, even though he hasn't got the bank behind him. In this situation, because the ball's so deep, it'd be good to chop down underneath. And there you can see he's hit down positively and kept his nice straight left arm, kept the body turning through, and he's just tried to eliminate the follow through somewhat so that he doesn't bash into that bank. We're running out of interesting places to play these. So this shot here, you'd have to decide whether you were going to pitch that off the top or whether you were going to play a bunker shot. Depends how deep that sand is. I would say you'd probably be pitching it, and in which case you probably would like to use like an 8-iron or a 7-iron or something like that. So because Ben's tried to use a sand wedge there and pitch it, he's not managed to do it all that successfully because he only had one club with him. But I would suggest if you did find yourself in that horrible lie around the green in sand, just chip and run it with an 8 or a 7, something like that. Here he's giving himself another beauty. Managed to play a beautiful shot there. Again, he's trying to set himself up as perpendicular to the shot as he possibly can. That is a really horrible... You could probably find yourself in this one. Some of these situations that he's putting himself in, you probably would never find yourself in because the ball just would run away from those edges. But this one, possibly, you might find yourself in. So, again, he's trying to get himself nice and steadily balanced. He's using that right leg as his real solid base as best he can. And again, he'll have to hit firmly into the sand just behind this and then try and bring that follow through up if he can a little bit. But again, making sure that the follow through coming up doesn't happen before you hit the ball. So he's got a shorter backswing here, only like less than a half. I've still got his nice, see how he hasn't added that extra wrist break anymore? He's got his nice V or his sort of right angle shape, the left arm straight. But he hasn't added that extra wrist break because he doesn't need to. There's nothing behind the ball here, so we don't need to have excessive wrist break. So he's focusing on playing the good technique, splashing into the sand. Here he is at impact, got his beautiful straight line down the left arm and the club, and he's managed to get the sand before the ball. The loft of the club will do the rest on this because you've got an upslope. That's actually a lot easier than a downslope. So he's got plenty of loft on the club. If you splash into the sand here and get in behind the ball, the club will do the rest. It'll pop it up quite well. You've just got to be careful you don't hurt yourself by hitting too sharply into the bank. Bring the club up through the shot. Once you've hit the shot first, obviously, and then you should be okay with an upslope. Generally, they're not too difficult, unless the ball's buried or something like that, which it wasn't there. He was pretty happy with that one.
That was pretty impressive.
Okay, so here we are. Here we are again. He's got a really sort of steep bank right behind him here. And he's really trying to lean forward. Gosh, he's done well to get that up. See how aggressive he's being with these. If I had to pick one thing out of all of these shots that Ben is doing to sort of help his success rate is the aggressiveness or the positiveness of hitting this shot. Now, if your technique's not great and you're bending that left elbow and you're collapsing the wrists and the weight's falling back, then it doesn't matter how hard you hit it, it still won't work. So having said that, hitting it aggressively and positively is the most important thing. You can't do that without decent technique. So I would say that if you've got good technique, then if you're in these really difficult bunker shots, then use some serious positivity and it will really help you get out. Just don't be afraid to give it a really good smack, basically. Again, see these extra wrist break Ben's got coming through here to try and avoid that bank at the back. He's maintaining that wrist. Look how close he comes to hitting the bank there without actually hitting the bank. It's almost a miracle, to be quite honest, but he's maintaining his wrist angle there as long as he possibly can so that he doesn't hit the bank. For women particularly, if you lose your angle coming down, if you lose your lag, you won't have much chance on playing downhill lies. Downhill as in the back foot is higher than the front foot. If you find you can't play downhill lies well at all, you're hitting the ground before the ball all the time, this will be why, because you're losing your angle too soon. So get some lag drills going. Keep the hands moving through the shot. Don't let the hands slow down. So here he's perfect through impact with that straight left arm. He's trying to maintain his balance, which he's done quite well. Managed to get the ground just before the ball. This is a pretty impressive shot he's played here. Look at that position there. He's managed to keep his good technique. That's a good shot. I hope you've enjoyed this little critique of the world's most difficult bunker shots. Ben and I had a lot of fun putting it together, and hopefully you've found it helpful in some way. So thanks for watching, and see you next time on Rollo Golf.